Hello, my dearest friends. By now, you know from our announcement last night that the shul is closed. And we don't know how long that closure is going to take, but I felt that I should make a message directly to you so that you could see my face and understand where we're at, and hopefully, we'll be able to provide you with updates on a regular basis. Um, I have to say that being at that executive meeting and board meeting last night and coming to the decision that we came to is one of the most difficult things I've had to do in my 30 plus years of being in the rabbinate. Never did I imagine that I would have to be encouraging a congregation to close its doors. Um, and I guess that's a lesson for me, and it's a lesson for all of us that when you least expect it, life throws you some very strange curves. But I wanted to perhaps offer some support to you, not only by way of offering our services and our help, which are always available, both from me, from Rabbi Spitz, Rabbi Deanna, from our office staff, and from our board, but also to perhaps suggest some lessons that we might be able to take from this, because no one knows God's overall plan. I know that Hashem has something big planned from all of this, and we're probably not going to know what it is for some time. But for the time being, what are we supposed to take out of it? What am I supposed to take out of it? And maybe I can suggest some of the things that you might want to look for as well. The first thing that I thought of is the concept of the house. All of us are cooped up in our homes when we would normally either be at work or at shul or about in a social environment. And, it's interesting. We're reading the portions now about building the Mishkan. So you would think that Hashem wants us to focus on our sanctuary, on our places of holy gathering and assembly. But the reality is that if we look at this week's Parsha, which I hope you'll read at home with your family, we read Parsha Sachodesh. This is the week that right before Rosh Chodesh Nisan, where we're going to read about the commandments of HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem, that God says this is the new month, this is the beginning of the new calendar year for the Bible, for the Torah, for the Jewish people. What's fascinating is that within that Torah reading, the word BAYT appears so many times. The Torah says, V'yikchu lahem ish sela veit avot sela bayit. Every person should take a sheep per household. V'im yimat habayit mihiyot miseh. And if there's not enough people in the house, then you can v'lakachu ushcheno hakarov el beito. And beito, bayit, beito, al habatim. God will pass over the houses, and you're going to paint blood on the doorpost that is on your front of your homes. The word bayit appears no less than a half a dozen times in the Torah reading that we're going to read this Shabbos. What's the message? We talk about the amazing phenomenon of social gathering in our shul. But when the Jewish people were getting ready to leave Egypt, they didn't have a shul. They didn't have a holy assemblage. The very incipient stages of our people, we were individual households. And we had to create a sanctity within those individual homes before we were ready to build a mishkan, a sanctuary in the desert. And maybe this is all just a reset button that God is sending to us. You've dedicated your lives to the shul. You've dedicated your lives to the holy places. But what have we been doing for our homes? Yes, we have a mezuzah, and we have beautiful holy books and beautiful artwork and silver candlesticks and all of the other Judaica that is around our homes. But how often do we dwell on those aspects of our house? Have we really sanctified our homes, or have we ignored the sanctity of the house? It's no secret that Pesach is not a time for the shul. Pesach is a time for gathering around the table and doing a Seder at home. And maybe that's just the reminder, is that God says, let's go back to when you were well before you were ready to even build a shul. Let's go back to your home and create sanctity there. Let's paint your doorposts with the sacrificial blood. I want to hear your voice of prayer from your home. I want to hear the sound of Torah study from your home. And then once you've gotten that requisite sanctity in your home, I'll be ready to open up your synagogue again and let you all return together. So that's perhaps lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 is, let's remember not to take our shul for granted. It's such a special place. And I know that sometimes, because we're there so many times, some of us it's daily, for some of us it's twice daily, for some of us it's once a week. However often you come to shul, we sometimes take it for granted. And I can tell you this much, I'm not ever going to take the BAYT for granted ever again. Having been deprived of this beautiful edifice and beautiful place where I feel so much at home, I'm never going to take it for granted again. And I can tell you that when we do finally open up the doors, that very first Shabbos, I can guarantee you there's going to be a Kiddush Gadol, a huge Kiddush, and I'll be the first on the list of sponsors for that Kiddush, to really, really celebrate being able to come back in and just be able to hold a siddur and a chumash and really embrace the chairs and the walls and the building, even with all of its flaws. But it's a beautiful place, and it means so much to each and every one of us. The third lesson is, let's not take each other for granted. I can't even shake your hand. I can't greet you properly. I have to keep my distance. And yeah, sometimes we do take each other for granted. We don't appreciate the tremendous friendships and the love that exists in our community for one another. And having to distance ourselves and not see each other for a while, or certainly not to be close physically with each other, that's hopefully a lesson of distance makes the heart grow fonder. Anyway, it's a number of lessons, a number of ideas that we can take with us. But I want you to know, don't despair. The medical experts are telling us that in all likelihood it will get worse before it gets better. We don't know what's going to be closed. We don't know what borders are going to be closed, what institutions are going to be closed. But we're all going to be okay because we're here for each other. If you find an opportunity to knock on your neighbor's door and see if they need anything, I suggest you do so, regardless of whether they're Orthodox or not, or whether they're even Jewish or not. Just extend yourself, your heart, and your hand to somebody else. If you need help, we're working on a whole system of things that we can do to provide help to people who are cooped up in home and aren't able to get outside and aren't able to do their grocery shopping. We hope to be able to have an announcement for you soon. In the meantime, if there's anything you need for the immediate next 24 to 48 hours and you don't find anyone that's able to get it to you, you know you have a lifeline in your shul. You can call me personally. You can call, and my number is 905-886-3810, extension 125. If you get my voicemail, press 3. You'll be immediately directed to my cell phone. You can reach Rabbi Spitz. His cell phone is hooked up to his extension at 109 as well. You can call our office at extension 133 or our executive director at extension 122. We are here for you. Email us, call us. We want to be there to help you, and we will find the help for you. Wishing you good health, wishing you good spirits. God should grant you simchas hachayim. Find someone to reach out to, study Torah with them, share an idea with them, and we'll all come out through this much stronger than before. I'll hope to have updates for you on a regular basis. God bless you all.